Most people are surrounded by others, and quietly dying inside. Think about that statement for a moment. You probably know someone who has hundreds of followers, a fully loaded contact list, and a calendar packed with endless social events. And yet, despite all of that noise, they are completely miserable. They are not just experiencing a passing mood, they are genuinely hollow, going through the motions of a life that looks perfectly successful on paper. Meanwhile, on the exact same morning, on the other side of town, a person sits alone. They have nothing but a book, a cup of coffee, and an uncommon, unshakable sense of peace. Nobody calls that quiet person popular, but they are, without question, completely free. We were taught social connection backward. From childhood, the social arithmetic was incredibly simple. More friends equals more value. The kid with the biggest birthday party was deemed the successful one. The adult with the widest network was the ambitious one. Loneliness was always positioned as a personal failure, while solitude was treated as a psychological disease. This flawed belief was installed in us like software we never agreed to download. But there is a dangerous truth that modern psychology and ancient philosophy have been pointing toward for centuries. One that very few people are actually ready to hear. The size of your social circle has almost nothing to do with the quality of your life. In fact, for a thinking, deeply evolving person, a massive social circle does not just fail to help them grow. It actively, relentlessly, pulls them backward into mediocrity. To understand why this happens, we have to look at what is actually occurring beneath the surface of human interaction. Robin Dunbar, an anthropologist at Oxford University, discovered something remarkable about the way humans build relationships. He found that the human brain is structurally limited in how many meaningful relationships it can maintain. The absolute maximum number sits at around 150, and that includes mere acquaintances. But within that structure, the truly intimate circle, the inner ring of people who truly matter, it tops out at about 5 people. Not 50, just 5. This is not a matter of personal preference, and it is not about being antisocial. It is simply how the human brain is designed. Every relationship requires a heavy cognitive load. It demands your attention, your emotional investment, your memory, and your daily energy. When you spread that finite energy across dozens of surface-level connections, you aren't building a rich social life. You are simply fragmenting your own capacity for real depth. You are trading the heavy substance of true friendship for the cheap signal of popularity. And there is a second psychological mechanism at work here, one that is far more insidious and dangerous to your potential. Psychologists have a name for it: pluralistic ignorance. When you are constantly surrounded by large groups of people, you slowly begin adjusting your thoughts and opinions to match the group around you. You don't even notice it happening. Slowly, you start to desire what the group desires, and fear exactly what the group fears. You believe you are thinking independently, but you have quietly outsourced your mind to the crowd. This perfectly explains why people with massive social circles often feel incredibly busy, but completely devoid of purpose. They are present in countless places, yet deeply connected to none of them. And there is a third dynamic that governs our lives, even though society rarely discusses it out loud. Your closest relationships shape your daily behavior far more than any book you read, or any philosophy you claim to follow. We naturally absorb the baseline standards, the hidden anxiety levels, and the tragic limitations of the people closest to us. When those people are numerous, scattered, and entirely unvetted, the ultimate result is mental and emotional noise. But when those people are few, carefully chosen, and highly calibrated, the result is absolute, unshakable clarity. The ancient Stoics understood this exact dynamic with extraordinary precision, and more importantly, they lived it. Marcus Aurelius was the most powerful man in the known world. Living in the imperial court meant endless company was always available. He was constantly surrounded by politicians, generals, and citizens demanding his attention. Yet, in his private journal, he returned again and again to a single theme: the absolute necessity of protecting his interior life from the chaotic noise of other people's opinions, expectations, and endless restlessness. He wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. But Marcus knew that this kind of profound mental strength rarely emerges amid constant distraction and social performance. It requires deep silence, sustained reflection, and a brutally honest accounting of the self. These are the very practices that constant social engagement makes nearly impossible to maintain. Seneca, another towering figure of Stoic philosophy, was even more direct and unforgiving in his warnings about the crowd. He firmly believed that associating with people who have no real standards and no actual intention of growing is never a neutral act. It is a highly corrosive environment. Seneca observed that after spending time in large public gatherings, he would return to his home feeling subtly diminished. He noticed that he felt more greedy, more restless, and far more anxious than before he left his house. This was not because the people in the crowd were inherently evil or malicious. It was simply because mediocrity is highly contagious. The habits of unfocused living have a subtle but powerful way of reshaping your mind from the inside out. His advice to us across the centuries was not absolute isolation, and it certainly was not coldness toward humanity. His answer was selection, ruthless, highly intentional selection. Then we have Epictetus, a man who began his life as a slave, who owned absolutely nothing. Yet, he eventually evolved into one of the most psychologically liberated minds in human history. Epictetus saw the matter of human relationships in stark, uncompromising terms. He taught that most people are not failing at life because they are unintelligent or incapable. They are failing because they have borrowed the wrong values from the wrong people, without ever questioning where those destructive values came from. To have fewer friends, chosen with immense care and deliberation, is to finally take full responsibility for what enters your mind. It is, in the truest and deepest Stoic sense, the daily practice of guarding the gate of your own soul. So how do we apply this ancient wisdom to our modern, hyper-connected lives? The first step is to audit your circle, entirely without drama. Write down the 10 people you spend the most time with, and ask one unflinching question. After I spend time with this person, do I feel more focused and grounded, or scattered and drained? This is not a moral judgment, it is an energetic reality. Some relationships expand your potential, while others quietly contract it. Knowing the difference is not cruelty, it is absolute clarity. The second step is to let distance do the heavy lifting. You do not need dramatic confrontations or long explanations. Human behavior is always far more honest than verbal declarations. Quietly invest more time in the rare relationships that elevate you, and politely invest less time in the ones that do not. Most unnecessary relationships simply need to be allowed to breathe a little less of your life. The third step is to fiercely protect your solitude. Unscheduled, uninterrupted time alone is exactly where your identity is built. The person who can sit with themselves without feeling a desperate itch of discomfort is a truly dangerous individual. They cannot be easily manipulated, panicked, or blindly led by the crowd. Solitude is never empty. It is the condition under which an unbreakable mind forms. There is a specific kind of person the modern world rarely celebrates. They don't command the biggest table, and they don't fill their weekends simply to avoid being alone. They are slow to trust, incredibly deliberate in their commitments, and genuinely at ease in their own company. They are not antisocial, they are highly selective. And because they are selective, the relationships they do maintain run incredibly deep. Choose fewer. Choose better. Then, hold on to those few with the fierce loyalty that only becomes possible when you stop spreading yourself thin. What is rare is usually what is valuable. In friendships, as in everything else worth having, that rarity is the entire point.